Hello and welcome to the Angerati studio at Investor Days Lisbon. And we're here, Investor Days Lisbon is discussing energy efficiency, and we're joined now by Jessica Stromback, who's the chairman of Joule Associates. And Jessica, welcome to this pop-up studio.
Yes.
But then pop-up things are de jour at the moment, right? So,
absolutely.
So Investor Days Lisbon, I was talking to some of your colleagues. You're trying to do something different about getting the finance community involved and its ESCOs, but I'm not going to ramble on for much more.
Yeah.
But can you just put into context, whenever you have an event like this, you're trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
There's a connection issue that's being solved. And what is that? Is it around regulation? Is it around finance? Where is that disconnect?
Sure. So the purpose of this event is really to bring two communities together. And like you say, we're looking to solve an issue. And the issue here is really the chasm of a finance gap for small to medium-sized energy efficiency projects. You have large projects, when by large I mean over 2 million euros. Which for an energy efficiency project is large. If you think renovating this building, you'd need 300,000 for energy efficiency. So large projects have easy access, but 85% of the market is 1 million and below. And they do not have access to financing, nor will banks really back these enterprises because they're too small, they're too risky. So what we're looking to do is solve that issue, which is why we bring investors, the investor community together, and the contractor ESCO community together. And
is that because when a project, I mean, it sounds ironic, but when a project is too small, it either doesn't fit, it's got too high a risk profile, or it just doesn't fit in the way that these organizations work. So at another event, there was a similar issue, and people were actually aggregating all of these small projects into a portfolio and then offering that up. Is it similar?
Yeah, they were trying to aggregate them. Exactly, in that, yes, it's similar. The issue is that to do risk assessment and due diligence costs basically the same amount, no matter the size of the project. So what we're actually building here is an IT tool which does the preliminary risk assessment and due diligence in an automated fashion that significantly reduces the heavy lift for the SME ESCO, and it means that the investor has saved 10 to 15,000 euros in reviewing that project.
And so, you know, in a lot of the narrative going down the conference agenda, there's a lot of things about regulatory challenges and regulatory issues. Can you put those into context? Because it's always like two different regulatory issues.
Yeah.
I mean, one may be to do with the energy industry. The other one might actually, in this case, maybe to do a bit more with the finance side of things. So where is it?
Well, you know, energy efficiency is encouraged in Europe. And obviously it isn't illegal. I mean, you're allowed to improve the efficiency of your building, but not much functioning structure is done beyond that. They'll let you do it. But there are, of course, many structural issues that are complicated with getting those projects done. The real regulatory barrier where you're saying, look, if you remove this barrier, we would be so much better off, are the accounting rules.
Right.
Because these rules were set for when you buy things, and then you have to pay them off, but the thing you've bought isn't earning you anything.
So it's like the capex and
capex, opex. Yeah. Well, the rules will force a company, or even worse, a municipality, to take 100% of this energy efficiency investment as debt, which means they have, even if they're financed, they have made their financial position worse because they now have this debt on their balance sheets. And in a municipal setting, that's not even legal. They have a 3% ceiling, 3% is tiny, and that's it. They're just not allowed to do them. And how you know that this is a big deal is in the US, where they have interpreted the same international accounting rules differently. And they allow energy efficiency to be a managed service. You have a $6 billion a year business, and in Europe it's 150 million.
So
for exactly the same things.
So in the US, they're taking it as they're saying it's kind of a pay-as-you-go thing.
It's a service. You don't have to take it as debt.
Yeah.
Somebody's paying you. You're paying for a service.
So can I ask a really simple question?
Yeah.
If in America you interpret an accounting rule one way, why can't we just pivot and? I mean, it's not that simple, is it? But
no, it is that simple. That's the infuriating thing. That is literally how simple it is. So really, honestly, it's totally a question of interpretation. We've just decided to interpret it as that these are assets which you are not allowed to they aren't a service. It's a thing you bought.
And who decided this?
Eurostat.
Right.
And so we are lobbying Eurostat and the European Commission because it's under the European Commission.
Right.
And basically what we're saying is, look, what you've done for all intensive purposes is made energy efficiency upgrades for municipalities illegal and extremely difficult for everyone else. I mean, why?
And then let's anchor back to the event. I mean, it's called Investor Days Lisbon. Is there something in particular sort of happening in Portugal where, I mean, why are we here, I suppose, is the big question.
Well, I want to point to our partners. We're organizing this with ICP, and ICP Portugal is just a great organization. And also the local community here, and in particular the SME community, is really seeing the services that we're providing of supporting small companies to gain access to finance is really important for them. I mean, in Italy, Spain, and Portugal, for all intensive purposes, small companies don't have access to finance, and this absolutely smothers their ability to grow, which is unacceptable.
So we keep going back to the small company piece, and and what I'm reading out of that is, look, if you're IKEA and HP, you can run your own energy efficiency programs because it makes sense to, and you've got the capital in your thing. But if once you start getting below a tipping point, actually you might want to do it, but you can't because you don't have that. Your cash flow isn't that positive, or whatever it might take for you to do it yourself.
Or it's just expensive.
Okay, and expensive in what sense? I mean, because you've got to break it down a little bit, you know.
Sure. So it's expensive in two ways. First of all, the ESCO that provides the service, so the provider, if they don't have access to finance, they have a choice to give their customer. One, you pay for these. You put in lights 3 years ago, but trust me, these lights are much better. Pay for them yourself. And in 7 years, you're going to have paid back that investment. Well, yeah, thanks, right? I'll keep the lights I have, thank you very much. Or the ESCO can pay for those lights himself and bill the client every month. Again, okay, but this isn't a wildly exciting proposition either way. Why finance is important is because you're able to tell this company, look, we are going to change your lights, we are going to pay for those lights, and we are going to add a bit to your energy bill, not more. We guarantee you're not going to pay more, you're going to pay a little bit less, but we're going to take some of your energy bill to pay for these lights. It's zero. All they do is benefit, and all they do is benefit from day one. And at the same time, that allows the ESCO to sell as many projects as he wants, because he's not having to sit there worrying, thinking, am I going to suddenly be stuck with 500,000 light bulbs that I have to purchase all of a sudden when I'm not ready for that? And it allows for a much more interesting sales proposition. Doesn't mean every client will do it that way, but still.
Yeah. So that's teed us up quite nicely to some of the emerging opportunities within this market.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about light bulbs, and it's like an obvious one with LEDs coming out and so on. But there's other really innovative stuff happening in this space as well.
It's really fun.
So let's end the second half of the interview.
Okay, so I can tell you what I'm excited about. Okay, so what I'm actually excited about is the new opportunities in the that finally in Europe and elsewhere we're having a lineup for the first time. It's like all the stars are in place. So you have energy efficiency, which is being taken more and more seriously. More of that is energy management systems, right? Which makes the whole building flexible. Now you can just lower your energy bill, but the other part of that is renewables are coming in, distributed generations coming in. You can have your own renewables if you like. They're now more and more affordable, and you have really the opportunity to just explode this market with an end-to-end system, because not only is it viable now at the consumer level, which it wasn't before for most customers, but the markets, you now have the legal right to enter the markets, which means you can go and sell these resources for a client, this electricity that they generate, these savings, into multiple markets. You could trade from France to Italy if you wanted to. And so as an investor, I just see revenue stream, money, 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 money coming for these customers and these services from all different directions, where before it just wasn't there anymore. So you can do energy efficiency for itself, the technologies only improve, and it's just a good, solid business case by itself.
And the demand-side response market is
but you have this whole distributed generation, this whole demand-side response market, and all of those are basically at the same stage of development, and you can line them up. And what I strongly suspect is that given it 3 years, that's going to be the norm.
And
yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes.
But before we end, and I'm getting the signal that we're coming to the end of our thing, is this available to anybody in Europe? Because, you know, there was this little boat the UK did acquire just not that long ago, right? Europe isn't, you know, all nice and cozy just yet. So the question I'm asking is, like, are there pockets where you're seeing actually, you know, like these regions are way more ahead, or,
yes.
or much more?
Yes.
You know?
So one of the services we provide within SEEF is that we will do market analysis based on real data. This is not consultancy guesswork. It's as a financial fund would do analysis. We will do analysis. No, never. Especially since I was a consultant for a long time. Yeah. So in any case, it's not estimations, it's based on actual. That's a better way to put it. And that's one of the services. But yes, obviously, some markets are definitely easier and more dynamic than others. That said, the renewables piece, and it's moving that direction everywhere. So it's a question of where can you take advantage of it first, so on and so forth. But it's
also
it's
one
all
of those,
moving the same way.
It's also one of those areas where actually businesses are pushing the agenda. You look at all those companies. I mean, it started off as RE100, right? All those companies that signed up that there'd be 100% renewables. It's now RE1000 because everybody's like going, this just makes business sense. So is there, again, anchoring it back to Portugal, just for us to finish off, Jessica, is there anything in particular that you're seeing in Portugal that gives you also hope and encouragement that in this market, because with the Portuguese economy being what it is, we need something?
Yeah, I mean, what I see is a really intelligent set of service providers that are here and willing and able to do what it takes to gain access to investment. And the nice thing is that investment funds are moving in, that they're seeing, okay, this group of companies is a group of companies we can really work with. They're willing to standardize, they're willing to measure, they're willing to verify. These are real engineering firms, if you will, on a smaller scale. We will work with them. And that's where it all begins, because you need this trust, this building of trust and partnership.
And the investor confidence.
And the investor confidence, which is why we are here. Yes.
And Jessica, thank you very much for your time, and thank you as well for watching. So this is the first of a whole series of interviews from Investor Days Lisbon, which is done in association with SEEF and ICP and a whole lot of people, there's a real buzz about getting together and making all of this happen. I hope you enjoyed this interview and many more to come. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.